My name is George. People know me in the berries for many years. Not going to talk about myself. I'm going to address this session to abiotic stress. This is the topics that I will address today, from what is the importance of stress nowadays and what kind of tools we can have in the end of the presentation to get overview from what is the lines of thought from climate change, the research, and also what we are doing in the field. So in the beginning of 2012, the panel of climate change has addressed to the world and select some topics to direct the research and the efforts. One of them is plant improvement because of the temperature rising, floods, desertification all over the world, especially in areas like Central Asia, with desertification increasing and not having a lot of water available. So we have to be able to maintain our productions and a certain yield to be profitable. And also we have to confirm that in the field we can generate production with genetic that can overcome these stresses. So one of the reasons that research focus in omics and genomics is to assure that in the future we'll have food safety. And so we have to be able to focus our efforts on reliable methods to assess new breedings and engineering plant genotypes. It's getting hotter. That's everybody feeling. So the data says the average temperature in the last 10 years is getting up. So it's increasing 1.17 degrees every year on average temperature worldwide. Why we have to focus on this? Currently, our farms have to be developed to sustain 15, 20 years or even more in time. So stakeholders should be focused on having a plan, what we're going to do in the future, not only thinking about today. This is some key observations from the Mediterranean basin. This is a project that I'm involved. We collect a lot of data throughout a group of experts, and we found with the model data out of NASA that the Mediterranean basin is declining in precipitation 9 to 11% a year, especially from February to October. The minimum daily temperatures, it's likewise to increase the next 25 years, because we are almost 2025. The average daily temperature also is increasing steadily, like I showed in the previous slide. So this is showing that our basin, where we have focused the berry production, is going be affected in the next 25 years. So we need to start thinking about this. The maximum daily temperatures will increase rapidly on a rate of 1.2 by 2030, so in the next 5 years, and 2.4 by 2050. So this is the models that a lot of teams are now gathering, especially important marketing teams and stakeholders with breeding, looking to these topics. This is the future, so take note on that. The chilling hours, we are decreasing, especially now on the Mediterranean basin. We are suffering for not having chilling hours enough, especially in the berries like blue northern eye bush. We are losing chilling hours. So it's probably going to 9 to 50% chilling hours decrease in the next 25 years. And also the growing degrees days, so it means the accumulation of temperature on a daily basis by hour and by day will also increase 6 to 15%. What happens here? Also, our crop evapotranspiration will also increase. This is the next topic on the session. We will address also the evolution of these studies on the water management and the crop evapotranspiration. So I'm addressing this, what is and the types of abiotic stress. That's what we face now, especially in Morocco. We are facing a lot of these topics. So UV stress, oxidative stress, salinity, increase of salinity on the boreholes, the drought, a lot of drought areas, especially in the subtropical and dry climates. We're going to start to see more and more this. The cold spells that are going to be more concentrated and shorter. The heat waves, especially here, the Shurgi is an important topic. We cannot face the Shurgi because it's high temperature and high and strong wind. So this is the biggest challenge here in Morocco, as everybody knows. And the pollution stress, because we also are polluting our aquifers. So we have to have policies that allows us to reduce this pollution and become more sustainable. And of course, the contamination of heavy metals is something that we have to take care because of the certification and also the contamination on a food chain. Well, this is, of course, a scheme from research. Abiotic stress has this impact on plants. What we see on the field is mainly the necrosis in the leaf senescence. This is what we see, but in a cellular level, we're going to have damages, and molecular level also damages. So this oxidative stress is something that we have to face from now on. Impact on the berries. It's something that it's lined up here. So it can lead to germplasm extinction. So we have to work on that, especially on research, to keep the conservation of the most important crops that feeds our food system. Poor ventilation or poor or lack of chilling hours. It's going to be more and more the topic that we have to address in the Mediterranean basin. We are already facing this. There's a decrease of 15 to 20% already in certain areas, like in my country, in the north of Portugal, we are dropping down quickly on mid-chill areas that had 600 chilling hours. They are going to 400 in every year, so it's decreasing. So you're going to have varieties that they will not perform, especially on the mid-chill genetics. I'm addressing to the blueberries especially. The other part is poor activity of pollinators. We have seen that the pollinators here, I was visiting some farms, that the pollinators, even with good temperatures, they are not active. So we have to understand how much bees or bumblebees we need for pollination and why they are not working. That we need to focus on in addressing some research on this. Some cracking on fruits. Fruit splitting is something that's happening. You can see this in raspberries. It's connected to genetics, but it's also the oscillation of temperature that we have because of the unbalanced climate that we are facing. Warm, cold, address, especially on raspberries, you can see that. Delays of flowering. That's something that everybody faces here, especially during the summer with the Shurgi. We have varieties that are almost switching from vegetative to generative, and they stop, they get thermal dormant, and then suddenly we see flowers and then they regrow again. This is something that is happening more and more. So we have to find some solutions to address this topic also. So we need research for that. New pests, it was already addressed, the pests here, so it's decreasing the variability of of pests and concentrating in some groups like thrips, like spider mites, and some diseases. So we are going to have a reduction of pests and diseases, but much more active throughout the year, throughout the season. So this is something that we have to concern, and Amin Benani has addressed this. The change of metabolite balance, it's something that always with stress, it happens. So this is something that the industry, especially the biostimulant industry, is focused, and now we are in an early stage on a fundamental research on this, especially in berries. Once again, the heat, the high temperatures promote vigor, so it's very easy to make plants grow. So we need to start thinking about to address our growing recipes and to make the balance between the radiation and also temperature to avoid excess vigor. And also traditional agriculture areas, they are losing a lot of the season patterns. It was mentioned here that the weather is crazy. So it's cold and warm, always short periods, long periods. So we're going to see that more often. And a lot of the growing will be from southern to northern, because the northern climate is also losing chilling hours. So we're going to be you're going to be seeing varieties that going to transit from mid-chill to areas to high-chill areas, because the high-chill areas also losing chilling hours. And of course, it's also impact the quality and the quantity of our yields. Well, a lot of science graphs here to understand how it works. So everything affects the growing of the plants. So high temperatures, what happens internally at the gene level and also at the cell level. What we don't see is excessive membrane fluidity. So we see more tender tissues after a heat event, the resorption of protein, so the plant stops producing these building blocks, and metabolite imbalance. That's what research now, and it is already basic from other researchers and other crops. So it's affect at the gene level and also at the function level of the plant. And again, the impact on chill accumulation. This is a diagram, especially for northern bush, which is not the case, but it's for you to understand, especially in northern environments. And I see here some investments in the mountains already going to try to extend the season. We're going to start to face these issues also. We are going to lose chilling hours, and that will impact also the quality of our flowers and also the quality of our production. Okay, in case of blueberries, we know that southern bush require low chill to be active, but the northern require much more chilling hours on the vegetative buds than the floral. So you're going to see patterns that we're going to have a lot of flowers coming and no leaves. So we don't have the building blocks of the fruit and the dry matter if we don't have leaves. This is what's going to happen here. Also, if you go to the mountain and try to get a later stage production, and also this will also be something visible. This is something that we all know, visual impact on plants on blueberries, especially on blueberries. We have to see the impact, the wilting of our shoots. Normally is related to the quick evaporation on the environment. Then the VPD normally is higher than 2.5. The plant stops, they cannot uptake water, and we start wilting. Luckily, blueberries can recover quickly from this, but it's also related with genetics. Most of the varieties have less or more density of stomata that regulates the water inside of the cells and the transpiration. The other part is the ripening clusters that this is visible with heat spells, especially in open field farms, and also the frost that a lot of us here in Morocco didn't see it yet, but we can see the impact on fruits, especially fruit. After fruit set, we are very sensitive. Okay, again, some demonstration of stress levels that we see in clusters. Okay, necrosis, spotting, shriveling, wrinkling. So this is the stage after the event. Also the drop stress leaves and the shriveling, the burn shrivel shoots that we seen also with the shirgi, especially last year when we had 50 plus inside of the canary tunnels. So we know that southern bush has higher thermal tolerance than northern bush, and they have the same CO2 fixation rates, and also the southern bush has bigger fruit quality than northern bush, so they suffer less with these stresses, but we still can see it, especially here in this climate. For early green fruits above 32 degrees, we can have impact on fruits, like I showed in a previous slide. And above 35 Celsius, it can impact blue fruit. So this can be possible to see in the future if you have warm spell. This is the visual impact also for rasps and blacks. A lot of the sun scald, the heat stress, the frost damage on raspberries when you have cold, extreme cold, and also salt injuries. This is going to be more visible if you don't invest in reverse osmosis and good quality water. This is the impact that we see also because of the incorrect pH. You also can mention, I have also to mention that the high temperatures also during flowering can affect the pollination and increase the crumbling. So more and more is visible during flowering periods in the summer, this situation. On strawberries, chill injuries, perfect plant and stress plant, so no water. This is what we can see in the field. This is a very common and a traditional symptom, which is the calcium deficient promoted by environmental conditions. So high VPD inside of the greenhouse can create this classical tip burn. The lack of air movement inside of a greenhouse also can affect pollination. So this can be a result. So focus on your pollination. Check your bees and bumblebees. I've seen here in the last 2 days, no activity. You have to replace your bumblebees very often. You need to start working with beekeepers to develop a strategy. Okay, that's the science now. What science already know. We know a lot of fundamental, but not practical. That's the stage we are. This is a biological approach on stress response. So that's how they study the abiotic stress. So it's due to optimal environment conditions compared with abiotic stress, physiology, and then go throughout the cycle to understand what kind of biomarkers can be used to understand what genes affect the response to the stress. This is how it's established the studies. Okay, plant sense memory. The plant, like us, has memory, muscle memory. We have muscle memory. The plant has plant response and plant stress memory. So we have a stress, and the plant will respond and create a memory. That's why it's important to know what to do to create that impact and create that changes. So the word that I want to transmit is priming. It's a word that's coming from science to the field. The priming is the preparedness for respond to a stress, right? And then this is response. The response, it's the memory that the plant has to keep alleviating stress. So we need to create that memory to the plant stress become less impactful on our crops. This is a recent studies, mostly Arabidopsis, and this is the problem. We need to bring these studies to the berries. We need the companies, stakeholders, research, bind it together to bring this knowledge to the field. What tools we have in the field? Like I said, most of the systems we now using is biostimulants that combines seaweeds, microalgae, and also phytohormones. The other part is bio-stress mitigators. We're talking about consortium of bacteria and fungi that can help develop better root systems to alleviate stress in water and water uptake. Then the other part is osmoprotectors, kaolin-based and silicon. It's also something that research is addressing now on a practical way. Protective films. We're going to have somebody here talking about shading, and also nanoparticles, UV filters, infrared light blockers, and also radiation reduction. So this is what we have to work on this area on a short term. And of course, a lot of us see here in cooling systems, the evaporative cooling irrigation misters, micro sprinklers, who create that evaporating cooling. This is just a summary what kind of impact the phytohormones has and what is the research now doing, especially on brachysteroids and salicylinic acid, jasmonic acid, and melatonin. Some of them are already studied on a base level, also on the biostimulant industry. This is the stress mitigators. I'm talking about bacteria and fungi that can help the plant to create and alleviate stress. So we need to know more about them and the impact on the plant. So we need to combine efforts to make these trials in situ. The osmoprotectors, kaolin. A lot of us use kaolin to protect before a heat event, and this is quite valuable. Besides, as a double effect, helps to contain big populations of thrips. Some of us see good results, some not, so we need more research in our farms, okay? This is protective films textiles. This is in Morocco, Egypt, South Africa. Some of the films are being used to alleviate stress and block light and try to alleviate the plant impact of the stress. This is the misters. Now it's being visible more and more, this type of evaporative cooling. It's very helpful. It's also costly and costs another source of important use in agriculture, which is water. So this is something that in the future we have to think about how to solve it. And then in the end, I want to address some impactful tools that we have to work together, which is medium long-term impact, start to learn more about stress memory, priming to plant preparedness, and also look and work together with the research groups. Like in Europe, there's a project that scientists are studying on a cellular level, gene level, to this type of agents. So we need to bring this also to the field. Start using data to anticipate what's coming in terms of temperatures, start using the models to create more control on your investment to assure that your investment is here in the next 25 years. Using sensors, very important, and managing systems. If we know the history of a crop, we can anticipate the moment that we have the stress, okay? And then we can react to that. We also need more applied research in Morocco, and not only in Morocco, but in the Mediterranean basin to understand that. And in Washington, they are using the services between Oregon and this university to a project called Beat the Heat. So they are studying this stress impact on plants, on berries. And then we have to bring the biostimulant companies also working with growers to really prove that what they have is very helpful for the growers to see and create a strategy to alleviate, create this priming effect on plants to alleviate the preparedness of stress. So the other part is we need to test more fabrics and more technology to make sure that what we can do now can have a short impact and a short reaction. And we then also share that information with growers. That's why we're here. That's why we create this conference. Thank you very much.